You know, some champions are just built different. He was one of them. Forged in isolation, a true force of will who simply outworked everyone around him. And his career wasn't just long. He completely redefined what was possible in a sport so often dominated by youth. This is the incredible story of Vijay Singh.
I mean, think about that for a second. That's the question that really defined Vijay Singh's entire career. His starting line wasn't just far from the finish. It was on a totally different map.
So, the answer doesn't start on the famous greens of Augusta or St. Andrews. Not at all. It begins thousands and thousands of miles away, on an island where the dream of becoming a global sports icon, well, it probably seemed like pure fantasy.
Okay, so to really understand the champion, we've got to go back to the very beginning. We're talking about a boy from Lautoka, Fiji, who started his journey a whole world away from the spotlight.
Right, so you can just forget the idea of a country club kid. Vijay Singh was born in Fiji back in the 1960s, a place with practically zero golfing infrastructure. The odds weren't just long, they were almost non-existent.
The spark, though, it came from his father, a man who knew the game from the ground up because he was a caddy. And he didn't just put a club in his son's hands, he ignited a fire, a relentless drive that would end up defining Vijay's entire life.
And right from the very beginning, his identity as a golfer was built on these three pillars. He wasn't just talented, he was absolutely obsessed with practice, fiercely disciplined, and he worked endlessly to perfect that swing. This wasn't about luck, it was about pure, unadulterated grit.
But you know, raw talent and a crazy work ethic, that's not always enough, is it? Getting good is one thing. Getting noticed is a whole other battle. For Singh, that meant a long, grueling journey, miles away from the cameras and the big prize money.
And let me tell you, the road to the top was anything but short. He turned pro way back in 1982, but it took an entire decade, a whole 10 years of grinding it out on smaller tours in Asia and Australia, struggling for money, living out of a suitcase, before he finally got his shot at the PGA Tour.
So you've got this central conflict driving his early career. On one side, you have the immense pressure of just trying to make ends meet. And on the other, this unshakable internal fire. He wasn't just trying to make a living playing golf. He was totally obsessed with becoming the best in the world.
And his journey just perfectly embodies this sentiment, doesn't it? His story is one of perseverance, dedication, and rising from humble beginnings. It's the classic underdog story, fueled by nothing but hard work.
All right, so after a decade of struggle, then comes the payoff. But how did he do it? How did Vijay Singh transform from this journeyman pro into the world-beating champion we all know as the Big Fijian?
Well, it started with the wins just piling up, more than 60 professional tournaments won worldwide. Just let that sink in for a second. 60. This wasn't some lucky streak. This was decades of sustained excellence, winning on every continent, under all kinds of conditions.
And of course, among those 60-plus wins were the absolute crown jewels of golf. Major championships are what define a golfer's legacy. And Singh, he captured 3 of them, 2 PGA championships, and the one every single golfer dreams of, the Masters Tournament, back in 2000.
Now, this was all happening in an era that was, let's be honest, famously dominated by another tiger. So Singh earned his own nickname, the Little Fiji Tiger. And that, it just spoke volumes about his reputation. His peers didn't just respect him, they saw him as one of the fiercest competitors out there on the course. And then, in 2004, he did it. He reached the absolute summit. After decades of climbing, he was officially the best golfer on the entire planet. World number 1.
But wait, here's the real kicker, the part that makes this story just legendary. He didn't do this in his 20s. He became the best golfer on the planet at age 41, an age when most elite athletes are long past their prime. It's just a stunning testament to his unparalleled work ethic.
But you know, Vijay Singh's impact, it goes so much further than just trophies and rankings. His true legacy is really about what he represents.
And his legacy really breaks down into 3 huge parts. First, inspiration. He proved to kids everywhere that greatness can come from the most unlikely of places. Second, giving back. He never forgot where he came from, and he used his success to support youth golf. And finally, he just completely tore up the script on aging, redefining the timeline for peak athletic performance.
And that, right there, is why his story resonates so far beyond the golf course. It's a universal lesson, really. When you combine discipline, resilience, and talent Incredible things are possible, no matter how humble your starting point is.
And all of this brings us to one final thought. If you're ever wondering, what does true perseverance actually look like? Well, you could do a lot worse than looking at the life and career of Vijay Singh.